A rattlesnake barely the length of a pencil has been scaring grown adults for 50 years because of one rumor that medical professionals still repeat today. This video looks at the claim that baby rattlesnakes are the deadliest version of themselves, supposedly because they can't control how much venom they inject. It traces where that idea actually came from, why doctors and rescue workers keep passing it along, and what new research says really happens the moment a young snake strikes. By the end, the real answer might change how someone reacts the next time they spot a small rattler coiled in the grass. Picture a hiker getting bitten by a rattlesnake that's barely 6 months old, and picture the doctor telling them it's actually worse than an adult bite would have been. That exact scene plays out in hospitals across the American Southwest all the time. The claim goes like this: adult rattlesnakes supposedly know how to control, or meter, their venom, holding some back when they bite defensively. Babies, according to the story, haven't learned that trick yet, so every time they strike, they blast out everything they've got. It's called the venom dump hypothesis, and it's been repeated by firefighters, park rangers, and even some medical staff for decades. But researchers who actually study rattlesnake behavior tell a very different story. Herpetologist William Hayes at Loma Linda University has spent years filming rattlesnake strikes with high-speed cameras, and the footage shows baby rattlesnakes doing something the myth says is impossible for them. They hold back. Young snakes deliver completely dry bites, meaning zero venom, just as often as adults do. Venom metering isn't some skill a snake picks up with age. It's a built-in reflex present from the very first strike a snake ever throws. That conclusion isn't even brand new. Back in 1995, Hayes tracked juvenile prairie rattlesnakes and found they adjusted how much venom they used depending on the size of whatever they were biting, exactly the kind of control the myth insists babies don't have. Newer studies have simply confirmed the same pattern holds up across more species and far more encounters. So the out-of-control baby isn't out of control at all. It's making the same split-second decisions a full-grown rattlesnake makes. It's just working with a much smaller tank. Which raises an obvious question. If babies aren't actually reckless with their venom, why has this myth survived in doctors' offices and news headlines for half a century? Hayes and his team didn't just debunk the venom dump idea, they went back and traced its entire history through the media. They combed through more than 100 newspaper stories about rattlesnakes published between 1900 and 2025. Before the late 1960s, most of that reporting got the science right. Then something changed. Starting around 1970, the dangerous baby claim started popping up again and again, especially in California, and from there it spread across the country through the 1990s and 2000s. By the early 2000s, inaccurate coverage was showing up in outlets nationwide, and only in roughly the last decade has accurate reporting finally started catching back up. The pattern behind who got it wrong is the interesting part. General wildlife stories that quoted university researchers tended to be accurate. But local news stories covering an actual snakebite victim usually quoted firefighters, police officers, or paramedics instead, and those sources were far more likely to repeat the myth as settled fact. Someone says something dramatic on camera, it gets clipped and shared, and suddenly it's common knowledge nobody bothers to question. And it worked better than anyone probably expected. In surveys, more than a third of students had already heard the myth before anyone told them otherwise. In Southern California, where rattlesnake encounters happen constantly, nearly 3 out of 4 emergency responders and health workers said they believed baby rattlesnakes were the more dangerous ones. People whose actual job is treating snake bites were repeating a story that isn't true. So if the people treating bites have it backwards, the next question matters even more. What actually makes a rattlesnake bite dangerous, and does size really change anything about that? Here's where the story earns a genuine twist, because babies aren't completely off the hook either. Size turns out to be the biggest factor, and it isn't subtle. A rattlesnake's venom glands grow along with its whole body, and because volume increases so sharply as an animal gets longer, A snake that doubles in length can end up storing roughly 8 times more venom, not just double. By the time a rattlesnake reaches full adult size, it can carry and deliver somewhere between 20 and 50 times the venom of a newborn. That gap in raw volume is exactly why clinical studies consistently show adult bites cause more swelling, more tissue damage, and more severe symptoms than bites from juveniles of the same species. But here's the part worth knowing before anyone gets too comfortable around a small snake. The actual chemistry of rattlesnake venom shifts with age. Young rattlesnakes often carry venom loaded with fast-acting neurotoxins, built to quickly drop small, agile prey like lizards and frogs before they can escape. Adult rattlesnakes shift toward venom packed with tissue-destroying enzymes, better suited to digesting bulkier prey like rodents. Drop for drop, some research suggests baby venom can actually be more potent in certain ways. It just barely matters in a real bite, because there's so little of it to go around. This isn't unique to rattlesnakes either. Copperheads and cottonmouths, close cousins in the same pit viper family, show the same basic pattern. The young ones control their venom just fine. They simply carry a lot less of it than their parents do. A baby rattlesnake with a scarier recipe but a nearly empty bottle still isn't the bigger threat. A grown rattlesnake with a full tank of less exotic venom does far more damage, virtually every time. So the myth gets it backwards on nearly every point that matters. But before writing off every young rattlesnake as basically harmless, there's one catch worth knowing. None of this means a bite from a baby rattlesnake is something to shrug off. A small dose of venom still matters a lot more in a small body, which is why children and pets face real risk from even the tiniest rattlesnake, size for size. Dry bite or not, any rattlesnake bite still calls for the same emergency treatment, no matter how young the snake was. The myth was never wrong because baby bites are harmless. It was wrong about which end of the age scale actually causes the worst outcome on average. There's one thing almost nobody mentions when they argue about which rattlesnake is scarier, though. The real danger was never really about the snake's age at all. It's about what this myth does to human behavior. Believing baby rattlesnakes are ticking time bombs makes people panic harder over a small, mostly harmless encounter, pressure doctors for treatment they don't need, or kill young snakes that were never a serious threat to begin with. Meanwhile, that same false confidence lets people walk a little too close to a coiled adult, thinking, at least it's not a baby. The myth doesn't just get the biology backwards. It quietly points people's fear at exactly the wrong end of the snake. If it's surprising that a baby rattlesnake actually has better self-control than the internet gives it credit for, there's a lot more of this kind of myth-busting waiting on this channel. Hit subscribe so the next one doesn't slip by. Drop a comment with the wildest snake encounter, real or completely made up, and send this one to the friend who still swears babies are the scary ones. A quick like helps this reach more people who like getting the real story instead of the campfire version.